it's so nice to see you again,
Yeah.
and thank you for giving us this opportunity. And it's this is our fifth installment of the recovery webinar series that Rapport has been hosting over the last few weeks, and and we feel very honored and happy that you're with us today. So it's much appreciated.
Yes, my pleasure. Yeah.
And I think particularly because you bring a different perspective. You know, we've had guests from across the sector, from different discussing marketing, discussing US retail, discussing the manufacturing sector, etc. But you're coming, obviously, Chow Tai Fook is such an important jewelry retailer in Hong Kong and China that I really look forward to hearing your perspective, given the experience that you've had throughout this COVID-19 lockdown period.
Yes, we'd like to share, some of our learning. Actually, we learned a lot from the time of lockdown in China in kind of January, February, March. Yeah, especially. Yeah.
Right. So Hong Kong and China preceded the US and European lockdowns, and I think people are looking for clues and signals as to how as to what's going to be the next step in their markets, looking at the China and HongOng experience. So maybe let's start with giving us an update on how is the retail environment in Hong Kong and in mainland China at the moment. What is happening?
I think at this moment, Hong Kong and China, I think two different markets. China mainland is another market, because China mainland, just like US, a huge country, right? And then, so that I think what we can say, the situation in China mainland is better than Hong Kong, because a huge market, and then because of the strict measures that the China government, they want to clamp some outbreak in certain city if they find the situation go worse. So I think, but overall speak, just like April and May, okay, we have announcement talking about mainland China. Overall, we can see a gradually recover. That means May performance is better than April. Okay. So May is talking about which is year-on-year comparison, is a kind of down of kind 20% year-on-year. And then, however, in May, the figure is encouraging, really about the same as last year. Just a low single kind digits of decline May compared with last year. So I think encouraging. And then we can see the momentum in June up to date, which is about the same as May. Okay, about the same.
Okay. So, I mean, what do you attribute that to? Is there a pent up demand for luxury items, or are consumers just yearning to get out there and buy something special? What is driving demand at the moment?
I think yes. I think pent-up driving, which is one of the reasons, because the market has been locked down since February and March. So people are willing to spend, okay, eager to spend. Okay? I think one of the reasons, people have stopped buying for nearly 2 months. So I think no matter what, they have some physical demand, like wedding, right? Still they need, or they want to appreciate themselves, right? I think self-rewarding. That makes a lot of reason that they come back to buy. Yeah.
Okay, so would you say that it's mainly sort of mainly bridal or
Bridal or sale rewarding. For example, coincidentally, usually May, which is we have the what called Labor holiday, Labor Day holiday.
right, right,
Yeah, yes. And also what we call the day 20 of May, the day 20 of May, we'll go 520. 520, that May, 20 of May, that means I love you. We say this is a special festival created by Chinese people that
right,
to celebrate people's love.
right. Well,
Now,
my
because
birthday,
they missed the sale in volatile days, right? In
right,
14th of February.
right.
So I think that give them another chance to express, the love to the loved one. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's I didn't know about the 20th of May being a day for celebrating love. It happens to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
my it happens to be my birthday.
Ah,
So I was
yes.
very
Okay.
excited. I was very
Good.
excited to hear to
Good.
hear
Yeah.
that
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
to hear that aspect of my
Yeah. Yeah.
my identity anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, in terms of, I mean, you speak about sales steadily improving month to month. Are you seeing that in terms of foot traffic to your stores, or is there
Yeah.
a momentum of e-commerce that is driving the sales growth that you're seeing?
Okay. Yes. I think we can see a interesting kind of phenomenon. One, I think the e-commerce sales definitely would benefit from this round of lockdown. I think because the people are ordered to stay at home in February and in February and March, so that they have to use hugely use of the mobile to connect with people, right? So social media info and content is booming. I think this is one phenomenon. And second, for example, because they're changing living behavior, right? For example, if they want to buy daily necessary like food or groceries, things like that, usually they can go to the supermarket, right? But now because there's some stay at home order, so they cannot go out. So what they have to do is use the mobile and place the order, right? Full mobile to the online platform. So one of the living behavior has changed. So I think same jewelry purchase. I think they largely use of mobile to search information. And then thanks to online one, we have traditionally we are the biggest player in Tmall or JD.com, which is the two e-commerce giants in China. And not only this, we also thanks to our in-house developed mobile app targeting to private domain, targeting to our customer in use of WeChat corporate version. This is a kind of communication kind of platform, social media platform, WeChat, so that we can access to the customer directly, anywhere, anytime. And then, and at the same time, they can not only we exchange information, but we can share, some what we call product offering or product information, so that they can buy. Just use the mobile, free click. One is browser, second is view, and then lastly they pay, and then we deliver. So that and the beauty of our in-house build smart mobile device, which is called Cloud Sales 365. Is a smart device so that we can approach the customer in a timely basis. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, as we've come out of lockdown now, Are you seeing that your e-commerce platforms are still the main driver of growth, or are you seeing more of a shift back to in-store brick and mortar sales?
Of course, I think jewelry industry compared with other, we are more relied on what we call human touch.
Right.
Or they want to be in touch before they buy, right?
Yeah.
So that no matter what, at the time, if, for example, at the peak of the lockdown, like in February and March, February, we really 100% lockdown. So that I think all we have to do is we keep on our communication or greeting with our consumer, right? Just to just to say take care, just to say hello to them, right? And then and I think another thing is that we can give them some product information, okay?
Right.
And then ultimately they would like to, even though they can buy online, of course, but for the big item, especially big item, say gem set, color stone, they still need to buy, or they need to visit the shop for product information and also feel in touch. So I think, but important is that when we locked down in February and March, because we still keep momentum with the customer. So once in April, when market, gradually resume, the store gradually reopened, I think it's good for us, right, to start our business immediately.
Right.
So I think to a certain extent it can help, to help keep information, keep connect, and keep the buying momentum or expectation. So I think once we open, that's why when we open in April, we can have an overwhelming kind of result. That another phenomenon is that in April, when we open, okay, customer traffic actually has not been recovered to the original level. I think it's only a kind of the foot traffic going to the store still has a decline of say 30 to 40%. Decline compared to the last year.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Footprint. But the benefit, the beauty is that actually when people come into the store, they already have a target kind of product. They already know what they need. Second is that
from your e-commerce outreach.
By e-commerce, or we have some P sales, right? Through the mobile. And then actually they know what they want. And then once they go in, we can improve our what we call conversion rate a lot. Yeah.
So, that's something that we heard on other webinars in the US, that retailers are expecting lower traffic but a much higher conversion rate. Are you seeing?
Yeah, sure. We can see. Yeah, sure. Lower traffic but higher conversion rate. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And is there a higher ticket item?
Higher per person purchase. Yeah.
So people are spending more.
Yes.
De Beers always talks about fewer, better things. It sounds like that's what's happening. That people are rewarding themselves with one special item rather than a few lower price point items.
Yeah, we can see the same phenomenon as our retailer in US. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Well, they haven't experienced that yet. They're projecting that will happen, and I think your model seems to be a good indicator for them that will happen. I wanted to ask you though, as you reopened, how did you approach the reopening? How does what have you put in place in your stores to ensure the safety and health of your staff and your customers?
Yes, I think first of all, I think people's safety. Okay, people's healthy always be our top priority, no matter our staff, no matter our customer or the public. Okay, I think safety always be our top priority. So that before we open the store, of course, we have to have a lot of process to make sure the environment, right, is virus free, right? So say like sanitizer kind of all over the store, and second is a lot of what we call protective kind of gears like masks, like sanitized agents. So I think all these we have to prepare. And then I think important is that we have to give a very key information to people, no matter staff and my customer, that we care about their health. Yeah, so that they can feel confident, they are willing to come in and willing to spend more time in the store.
Right. Do you have a limit as to how many people can be in the store at one time?
Yes, of course. We have this kind. We have what we call a safety number of people, right, in the store. I think that is one of the measures that we have to keep a distancing kind of a safety distance. Yeah, in the store. Yeah.
Okay. So, you have such an extensive network of stores. It's over 3,000 points of sale across Greater China.
Yes.
Are all your stores open now? Have you completely reopened?
I think yes. We up to date, we are nearly 100% the store reopened again. Okay. And then I think in terms of the the business operation hours every day, and nearly resume, except some other place like Beijing. Recently, they have some epidemic in the market, right? So in Beijing, some shopping mall, they have reduced the operating hours. Yeah. But as a whole, I think 98% of the store around in China today already reopened, and also the business hours go back to normal.
Back to normal. Okay, and in Hong Kong, well, in Hong Kong, we know that it's been a challenging few years already for Hong Kong. And we know that there's been very challenging issues that have come up for retail. Have you kept a few of your stores closed in Hong Kong on a permanent basis as a result of the lockdown?
Okay, I think in terms of Hong Kong, we are challenging, because our retailing is very challenging because in the past we about 50 or more than 50% of our sales contributed by tourists. So since lockdown in different country, or what we call our border has been shut down or limit kind of visa to traveler. So I think we have been heavily hit. But up to date, we are fortunately the local domestic consumption, which is also gradually pick up, unless foreign customer still nearly zero. Okay, foreign customer, traveler, but local customer gradually pick up. This is what we can see. I think the same kind of phenomenon. People order to stay at home for a long time, so they are no longer to wait for stay at home order. So and actually the government has released some of the we'll call measures to cap people in restaurant or in public area. So that, of course, that would help. I mean, the overall retailing environment improve a lot. Yeah.
Right, right. So how do you approach the situation then today in terms of your strategy moving forward? You know, Chow Tai Fook has for a long time been very focused on expanding in mainland China and increasing your revenue share there. I would imagine that that's now accelerated. But you know, how do you approach this situation in terms of those plans, and also do you see the foreign tourists and the Chinese tourists coming back to Hong Kong in the near future?
Okay. First of all, we are strategically to focus our investment in mainland China due to huge market, huge population, and I think, for example, last year we opened a kind of more than 600 store last year, financial year, in mainland China, which is about 70 to 80% the new store open are located in what we call T4 and T5 city. Help you understand what is T4 and T5 city? Is talking county level with a population of 200,000 to 300,000.
Right.
This kind of new store open last financial year. I think actually these kind of new what we call region, what we call new region in county level, they outperform than the upper tier level, like tier 1 big city, Beijing, Shanghai. I mean, especially at the time of epidemic. I think the reason is because, as you know, that a lot of Chinese worker are migrant worker, right? They come from say lower tier city, and then usually they would migrate work at the upper level tier of city. Right. And then since the lockdown in the upper tier city, so most of the time they stay at the hometown, so that they build, so that they expand there, they spending there, they build, I mean, or they build their own business there. So I think actually lower tier city benefit some economic advantage from the epidemic. Yeah. Okay. How do you understand? Nearly about 500,000 of our population, the people are based in what we call county level. Yeah. Okay. So that would be a huge market. So that I think we identify that we can actually our store allocation in terms of tier city. Say today we have a kind of Chow Tai Fook jewelry store in mainland China, is a kind of 3,400 store in mainland China. And then actually, I mean, in the lower tier city up to date, we only talking about 10% or 10 to 15% our store are located in lower tier city. So that we believe that we have a bigger opportunity to open more store in these kind of lower tier cities.
And as those lower tier cities develop, there develops a middle to upper income community that would be spending on jewelry. I would imagine that that's where the growth opportunity is.
Yeah. Well, we believe that. Yeah, because the increasing, growing kind of income in the domestic market. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And so have you adjusted your expansion plans for mainland China this year? What is your projection in terms of store?
I think this financial year, okay, our financial year is start from April to next year May, okay, our financial year. So that this year we in mainland China we target to open a kind of 400 to 150 store this year, this financial year. Yeah. Okay. and same as last year, which is 70 to 80% the store are concentrate in the lower tier city. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
we have no change our brand. We are optimistic to mid to long term. Help you understand, even those the first quarter, our financial year first quarter, that means April to June.
yeah.
Up to date, we have a kind of 30 store open, new store open.
Okay, that's amazing. It's I mean, it's a very optimistic outlook. It gives us a good indication of your
Yes,
expectations
yes,
in the mainland. I mean,
yeah.
are you concerned about you know, it's in terms of the virus and the pandemic that's affecting everyone.
Sentiment, yeah.
Affecting sentiment, but are you also is there concern about a second wave? Is there that might dampen that optimistic outlook that you expressed?
Yes, I think we are also concerned, right, whether second round or second wave of pandemic, but we cannot control it because we are not scientists, okay?
Right.
But all we have to do is how we keep our our confidence and also keep on our momentum. And then I think important is that we must keep positive sentiment, but at the same time keep our alert, right? In case any emergency come out. So I think important is that risk management, the team is really, really important. We should be keep alert in short time. I think, of course, short time change kind of situation, right? We have to adopt different kind of measures. That, for example, but no matter what, keep our people safe, keep our environment clean. I think which is important, right? In terms of the physical store management. And then second is that we have to speak up we will speak up actually our innovation and technology investment. So for example, how we can sell product or how we can pre-sell product in use of mobile.
Right.
For example, today we are not only build our own mobile app called Cloud Sales 365. We also build our live streaming platform. Live streaming would be, I think, in the future, would be another what we call an effective and kind of smart tool to access to the customer.
Can you explain how that works?
Okay, how do you understand? I would believe that because of the our living behavior has changed, so that the buying behavior will change, right? And then, for example, traditionally, this is one of the was still important, which is the important channel that we can access to the customer, which is what we call offline, which is a physical store. Customer go into the store, right? We source the product, and then we display in the store, and then we attract the customer go into the store, right? And then our sales associate push the product to the customer, right? This is traditional. Right. And then, however, a kind of 10 years ago, a new kind of channel, what we call online sale, right? Like US, we have Amazon. Like in China, we have two big giant, Tmall, Alibaba, and also Didi.com. And then that is what we call new channel, right? Online, okay? Online channel is a kind of business, what we call a business model talking about no product in the store. Actually, the virtual product, right? People search online, buy online, without any interaction with the sales associate, right?
Right.
Contactless, no contact. You just pull out what you want, okay? And you pay, and that is traditional kind of online sales. But we can find a gap in between offline and online, in between, which is what we call a private domain. A private domain, which is called O2O channel, or what we call OMI channel, right? So
Right.
imagine that if I'm a sales associate in the store, and then I have a customer. I meet a customer in the store, and then once we keep connect with mobile, like in China, which is really popular, called WeChat. Okay, today people make friends easy, right? Okay, just show the QR code from the mobile, and then we scan, and then we can connect. So that that already built a relationship, right? And then now today we have some new device is that once we make friends in use of a QR code, okay, scan the QR code, then we start communication, we start interaction, right? So we can share information, we can share different interesting kind of content, right? And then, of course, at the same time, we can show them some interesting product or interesting what we call promotional kind of video. Today we have TikTok, okay? We have TikTok as well, interesting kind of product information. Or we can take a photo to my jewelry pieces and we share with our consumer.
Right.
So
it's an interaction between your offline and online platforms.
Yes, and that's what we call O2O channel.
I see.
Okay. I think that will be the future. That will be the future, and especially when after the epidemic, these kind of O2O with human touch, right?
Right.
Because we know each other, right? We interact each other. That is, I think, feeling and is much better than just online sales.
Right. It's about humanizing the digital experience.
Yes. Right.
That's,
that is the new channel.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So you're investing heavily.
Yeah, we will continue heavily invest in this kind of smart tool.
Okay.
So for example, I have another. Okay. Yeah.
No, carry on.
Okay. For example, I have another smart tool which we think is really helpful. For example, I also solve another problem of our give you an example. Usually, when the customer go into a physical store, right, there are only limit kind of selection, right, all the time, limit. Right. So now we have another smart device called Chow Kiosk. A kiosk, like a TV screen, okay. We set on the wall in the store, okay, and then whenever the customer come in, they cannot find anything they like, okay, they can go into the Chow Kiosk and search information, search product information. Right. These kind of product are all these kind of stored in our central warehouse. That means we can help the physical store or physical store sales associate to provide the customer much wider.
Right. So it broadens your inventory.
Wider. Yes. And important is that, like the young millennial today, right? They don't like to, right? When they go into the store, too much people are tracing her. They like to have their own freedom to choose, freedom to select the right thing. I think that is another new finding at the time of epidemic. Imagine that people, especially young people, they go into my store, and then they like to sell they like to try and feel the freedom of browsing information, and when they need service. When they need any inquiry, I think my sales associate will provide immediate prompt response. I think that is another smart tool. What we call people search offline in physical, but they buy online.
Right. Okay. Interesting. It used to be the other way around.
Yes.
But I think it's interesting because you don't need to hold as much physical inventory in your store.
Right. You're right. Totally right.
Does that affect your suppliers? Are you able to present in your stores inventory that head office doesn't own either, but your are you able to tap into your suppliers' inventory online in that manner?
Yeah, I think that definitely that will be another. I mean, it is one of our direction in the coming 1 to 2 years. Right. That we have to to bring in more selection, or we provide a platform to connect supply and demand, and then I think that would be that's why we talking about in the coming 1 to 2 years. We will continue to invest money into innovation and technology so that we can build a platform to facilitate supply and demand.
Interesting. Well, it seems that one of the consequences of the pandemic, and I think it was happening before COVID-19 started to spread as well, is that there's a streamlining of the pipeline. That there's a move towards greater efficiency stemming from retail in particular, and then through the wholesale and manufacturing and to the mining sector as well. So how do you see this new world that we're going into affecting the rest of the pipeline? You know, what's going to, how does it affect particularly the midstream wholesale dealer manufacturer out there?
Yeah. Okay. I think my personal understanding and also my prospect, we understand that we believe the world will change, like technology will change our behavior. Ultimately might change our business model. I think that I always believed. So that I think thanks to 3 years ago, we raised a innovation and project, how we can upgrade or evolve our business model more in use of digital transformation. I think thanks to the idea several years ago. Okay, I think today, I mean, especially at the time of epidemic, we can coincidentally we can catch up right with the change. So I think this is I think what I want to share with my industry is that we have to think ahead. What happened, right? In 5 or 10 years later. Imagine that what happened, right, with people's behavior. So that I think what will change our business strategy. I think that we learned a lot. And then I think I believe that I still confident that customer or people, they need jewelry, right? They need jewelry. I don't see a big change in the demand, okay? But we can see the change of the way how we can sell product to the customer, right? The channel will change.
And you expect that would increase demand, the more efficient and tech savvy.
More efficient, more diversified kind of channel. I think that is important. We are talking the way how we can, right? Build a channel, build a network, build accessibility to connect customer so that we understand their need. I think that is, I believe. Second, I think the whole industry, no matter, I mean, the prime line, no matter you're a mining company, no matter you're a diamond cutting factory or wholesaler, design, right, a service provider, I think we should work all together.
Right.
How we can in use of innovation and technology so that the whole pipeline can reduce what we call overproduction.
Right.
We reduce oversupply. I think important is that how we can to provide what we call a plumbing kind of product offering to the customer.
Okay.
I think that I always, or our company always think about that. So
Right.
I think how the whole industry around the world work together. I think good example is that just like diamond jewelry pieces. I think it is really a typical what we call global cooperation, right?
Right.
But diamond raft come from all over the world, like in Africa, like Canada, like in Russia thing,
Right.
and then polish maybe in India, and then diamond certification in India, US, and then the market in US and Europe and Asia. I think this is
It's a
the whole
global
pipeline
industry.
will work globally, yeah, together,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
But we need connect. We don't. I mean, information connect is always be left behind. I mean, yeah.
Right. Well, the experience that we've all had over the last few months is that it's taught us that we can connect in a much more efficient way as well through all these digital platforms, etc. But you mentioned that we need to be careful not to manage the inventory levels
Yes.
throughout the industry, and that's been a challenge for the midstream in particular.
Yeah.
So firstly, what are inventory levels like at the retail level at the moment? I mean, the feeling is that retailers have enough inventory now, and so that's going to affect their activity, their buying activity in the polished market. And that has a knock-on effect that the midstream is left with a lot of inventory. The miners are carrying on with their rough production because they have to, and so it seems that there is this overhang of inventory. So how do you, a few questions there. Firstly, how do you see that playing out? And how do we restore the balance of supply and demand in this crisis period? And secondly, more specifically for Chow Tai Fook, is how are your inventory levels? And then I'll get to another question after that.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I think why people, I mean, why the stakeholder along the price line, they are so conservative. I think because the fast changing buying sentiment, right? Because especially when we target to the young people, right, in the coming 5 to 10 years, I mean, the major kind of consumer, jewelry consumer, come from the group of people, right, young people today. Because this group of people are so, what we call electronic savvy. Okay, they so keen to share information online or through social media or through their friends group. So that means we can foresee a much faster kind of product life cycle or shorter product life cycle compared with 10 or decades ago, right?
Right.
I think that is the big challenge. So that I think second is that no matter what, I mean, for the whole pipeline, I mean, all the operator or stakeholder along the pipeline, we have to pay attention or we have to satisfy our end user, right? We are not going to say, as I'm a retailer, I am a retailer, but I am also a wholesaler. Okay, but I think as a retailer, what's my objective? My objective is how we can satisfy my end user. But if I am a wholesaler, my objective is in the past we want to satisfy our retailer, right?
Yeah.
But not enough. Even today, you are a wholesaler. You have to, right? You have to work together, or you have to look into the market as a retailer to see what is the end user need, so that you can develop some product, which is right. Um, Presuming the end user to buy your product. I think we have, no matter a mining company, no matter your wholesaler, your retailer, I think we have only one boss, which is end user.
Right.
Okay, so I think fundamentally we have changed our mindset so that we can work together. Okay, so I think makes sense. Like a lot of uncertainty, not only customer behavior but also macroeconomic situation is uncertain, and also political situation uncertain. So that I think retailer are conservative to keep stock. That
Right.
just makes sense. Okay, and so that like Chow Tai Fook, we also suffer because in usually in January and February, which is our peak season at the
Yeah.
full year, which usually contribute 30% of our revenue and profit more than a year. But because of unpredictable kind of pandemic, we nearly shut down, nearly 100%
Missed out on
lockdown.
it. Right.
Yeah. So I think, but fortunately, we keep the stock, which is what we call sellable and fast turning kind of product, right? Like 1 carat, half carat, 0.30 carat diamonds, things like that. What we call affordable price sector. I think we are comfortable to
Right.
see, right, the result. But I think I would be always say we have to share information with them, with our stakeholder, that what is the situation.
So, I mean, Chow Tai Fook is also known for doing a lot of in-house polishing. And what percentage of your inventory or of your supply is from your in-house operations, and have you adjusted that as a result of the situation?
Last year, last financial year. I mean, in terms of, for example, diamond polish, okay, which is a kind of 50% of our diamonds sourced directly from mining company, and 50% we source from polisher. Okay, so I think I don't think we have too much time coming. I mean, in the coming year, we foresee we don't have too much. I mean, of shift or too much kind of mix in terms of in-house polish and also and outsource kind of polish. We don't see any too much kind of big change.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Do you have excess polished inventory? A few years ago, the company announced that you were going to start selling to the US wholesale market loose polished stones. Is that a project that's been ongoing, and do you have a need now to go into the polished market as a supplier to the wholesale market?
I think I think it would be a normal kind of what we call diamond trading business, right? As you know that even though we regular source from some mining company, but we're already looking for what we call the right puzzle, right? But definitely you have some what we call off size or some quality which is not suitable for China market. So that I think through international trading platform, we can sell out and some product that we don't suitable to our market, and then in exchange we are looking for some what we call sellable and suitable market for local market.
Okay. I think we if you don't mind, we can go on for another 10 minutes or so. Is that okay?
Yes. Okay. Fine. No problem.
Thank you, because we started
Yeah.
a little late. So
Oh no.
so
Yeah. I know that. Yeah.
So maybe if I can just ask you 2 or 3 more questions. The first I wanted to ask you about is the different segments of the market that you supply to in the retail space. You know, you're active on the very high end. You've got Heart of
Yes.
Fire, you know, is a brand that Chow Tai Fook owns. And then you have the more commercial sort of quality goods that you provide. Are you seeing a difference in the recovery between those segments of the market?
We can see in the recent, just like recent 3 months after the reopen of the store, and we can see say like Heart on Fire, we have compared with generic diamond performance, which is outperformed better than, and then we have another branded jewelry, we're talking about high HOF Heart on Fire is a high premium, right? High premium diamonds targeting to the top tier of spending. We can see the performance is better than the generic, and even our branded diamond T-Mark, which is a traceable diamond, to make sure it's a natural diamond, and the performance of T-Mark is also overwhelming.
Is outperforming.
Which is outperforming.
Outperforming. So interesting, because I mean, it seems that there's the brands are doing better.
I think one of the trend of Chinese customer today, I think they are looking for not only value for money. I think they are looking for brand value. They are looking for some additional kind of value, like social touches, things like that.
Right. Okay. Interesting. And I mean, often we sort of talk about the US consumer and the Chinese consumer, and we kind of box people into different categories. But it sounds like they're very much the same similar trends that are taking shape. Do you see a lot of similarities between the millennial consumer in China and the US?
Actually, I think the world is flat. World is flat because of communication, right? Because of fast communication. So I think I have business in China, Hong Kong, and I have my business in US. I think what I can see, one same phenomenon. They are what we call mobile savers, okay? Especially young millennials. Second, they are all creative. They are looking for what we call personality. They are no more follow their parents' opinion. Same. I don't think too much kind of different.
Interesting, and I think there's an independence, particularly amongst the younger consumer, millennial consumers, and we see that on social media that there is this need to express oneself and one's individuality.
They want to express themselves.
Okay, so having said that, what lessons can the US retail market learn from the experience in China and Hong Kong as we come out of as retail starts to open in the United States now? Is there sort of a playbook that we can take from the experience in the market in China and Hong Kong?
What I say is that I just learned from the epidemic, right? So that I would like to share, our experience, so that I can help. Ultimately, hope that I can help all jewelers all over the world. Help them keep confident, and well prepare themselves or to embrace innovation technology. And I think that is something I can share with with, our industry. Yeah.
I think it's such an important message, especially now. And you know, one, and we don't need to go into it because I know we need to close up. But one thing that's struck me in covering the industry as a journalist is that we haven't spoken about synthetics in a very long time, and we used to talk about it so much. And now it's the conversation's shifted to where it needs to be, and that's how can we increase demand for our product. And I think it's it plays into what you were saying, that we just need to be confident in what we can what we have, and I think we have a lot to offer. And Ken, thank you so much for your time. I know it's late in Hong Kong now. It's past 9 o'clock. And so I really appreciate your sticking around and joining us for the webinar. And
thank you.
I look forward to chatting again and seeing how Chow Tai Fook is doing throughout this period.
Okay, thank you very much. My pleasure.
Best of luck and stay safe. Okay, so thank you.
Stay positive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's such an important message. So I want to thank everyone for joining us throughout these webinars, and stay safe to everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Sure. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye then.